Welcome to the Have More Fun podcast. In this episode, I talk with Candace Cameron Bure about being a working mom, how the 7th book she wrote was actually the first book that she ever dreamed about writing. We also talk about the state of her dishwasher and her very favorite moment on set, which I am incredibly jealous of.
I feel like it's like cleaning your house. I feel like nobody's going to clean my house as good as I'm going to. They also see like the Instagram version of me, which really is me, but you're still seeing the best of me. Like, come on. I'm not sharing like my crying, well, actually I do share some of my crying moments.
One of my favorite weekends every year is in September at an event we host at MOPS called MOMcon. It's a 3-day event where women from all over the world come together to be inspired, not to mention have the most fun you will have all year long. And if you want to experience the best weekend away you have had in a long time, that is part girls getaway, part TED Talk, part worship concert, and part best church service you have ever been to, then you should totally join us. But be prepared for a wild weekend because when 3,000 women get together, it is bound to get exciting. We are opening registration for this event on February 1st, and tickets go fast, so put it on your calendar now. And we have incredible artists and speakers who will be joining us this year, and as always, we have a few very fun surprises prepared for you. And the other thing to be prepared for is to leave the weekend feeling refreshed and ready to do things that you didn't think were possible before that weekend. It's one of the most inspiring 3 days I have ever been a part of, and I would love to invite you to join us this year in Orlando, September 5th through the 7th. And side note, it's a great gift to give to yourself as your kids are going back to school after a long summer. We bring the very best speakers to MOMcon who will share messages that will kick your butt with how their words are meant just for you at that moment in your life. Just like the gems that you are about to hear from Candace in this conversation. So make sure to go to mops.org/events on February 1st to get all the details you need on how to register for MOMcon, because I can't wait to see you there. Last year, Candace Cameron Bure wanted to be with us at MOMcon, but at the last minute couldn't make it due to her filming schedule. So instead, I flew out to her set in Burbank and we filmed this interview you're about to hear. And now, without further ado, here is my friend, author, director, the star of Full House, Fuller House, and more movies than I can name, Candace Cameron Bure.
Hi Mops, I'm Candace Cameron Bure, and I wish I could have been there with you this weekend at MOMcon, but I'm filming my new Christmas movie right now. So instead, I invited Mandy to come to LA so we could have a chat and share it with you.
Okay, so Candace, you famously were a working woman, and then you moved into being a stay-at-home mom, and then transitioned into being a working mom. And I heard you say once that the key to contentment in each of those situations is recognizing that you are in the perfect spot at that time of your life. And so how hard was it to make each decision and then navigate the transitions of each different scenario?
I think each scenario is different in that time in your life, whatever you're transitioning to. So when I've been working since I was 5 years old, and when I transitioned into wife and mother at 20 and 22 years old, having already had an entire career, that was a difficult transition for me because I went from not only working every day, but being in an adult world, which is pretty opposite of what most people go through at that age, and then transitioning into full-time stay-at-home mom. It was difficult in that I had to find my surrender in motherhood, and it took a few years. And it wasn't that I didn't love motherhood and I didn't love my children, it was just a transition. And it sometimes can be difficult because we feel like we lose a sense of ourselves when we're used to being in the workforce and we don't have people maybe patting us on the back, or we don't feel like we've accomplished something when within our day with our kids, we have accomplished a lot, but maybe our accomplishments are going to the grocery store or vacuuming our house or getting in a shower that day. And you're like, well, that's not very much. I used to do these big things, and yet those are big things. But it's really about kind of reframing your mindset. But when I went back to work after being a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, like not working at all for 10 years, it was an easier transition, but a very different transition. For me, at least, I discovered not only how important my family was, but what my priorities were. Because then it wasn't all about the work, because my family for me needs to come first.
So how do you decide what you say yes to and what you say no to?
I think that part's gotten a little easier as my children have gotten older and even as I've settled in my career. And I'll be honest, this interview, this time with you, this was important to me because I know that as a mom, whether you're a working mom, stay-at-home mom, we need one another. We need our support. People may think I have it all together, but I'm the same as all of you out there. I'm looking at the next book, like whose book can I read? What podcast can I listen to? What piece of information, what advice, what secret, what something can I glean from someone that I haven't thought of that could help me? So I want to share whatever knowledge I have or any tips or anything that I can share with the mom out there that could get something out of it and take away from it.
Yeah, that's so important. And I love how you talk about how we really do need each other. Like we need to hear from one another that we don't have it all together and we're all just figuring it out as we go. Okay, so one new project that you have coming out really soon is your new book, Candace Center Stage. It's adorable, kids book.
Yeah.
What made you want to write a kids book in the first place?
So I have 3 kids and they are 20, 18, and 16 years old.
Crazy.
I am almost an empty nester. But my dream of writing a children's book started when I had my daughter 20 years ago. And that was the first book I ever wanted to write. I loved reading to my kids, as I'm sure so many of you do too that are out there listening. And I always dreamed of writing a children's book one day. So it's funny that will be my 7th book that I've written, but it truly is my very first dream come true.
And so all the moms out there who at this moment have a dream, it might take 20 years, but
totally,
it can totally happen.
Absolutely. You just have to, I think you have to dream big, you have to work hard, and you got to pray harder. That's really my motto.
What's the message you want kids to take away?
The book is just about being yourself. This is about Candace, a little girl that loves to dance, but she likes to shake and shimmy more than do plies and graceful leaps in her ballet class. And that's the message. It's just be yourself and keep trying and don't be afraid to fail. That's one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in my life, not only as a young girl, but as a woman today, is don't be afraid to fail.
That's awesome advice. I saw another piece of advice you had, I think it was in Kinda's New Classy, and you talked about how one of the greatest gifts we can give to ourselves is to ask for what we want, ask for what we need, which is such a hard lesson.
Yeah.
How has asking for what you wanted played a role in your career?
It is a really big lesson for all of us to learn. But I've recognized that especially in business and even with my children, nobody is going to work harder for me than me. I can, tell people to ask, even if it's my girlfriend, can you go ask for me? Or maybe you could but they're never gonna say it. They're never gonna do the job that you would want for yourself. I feel like it's like cleaning your house. I feel like nobody's gonna clean my house as good as I'm gonna clean it. Nobody's gonna put the dishes in that dishwasher the way I'm gonna put them in. That's my pet peeve. I'm just like, don't touch my dishwasher. I will do the dishes.
Are you a knives up or a knives down?
I'm a knives down.
Yeah.
Okay, I could get on a whole dishwasher tangent of how to place the dishes in there.
Placement.
Oh my goodness. But when you have that thing like someone just isn't going to do as good of a job, and it's not so much about a control issue, it's just knowing that no one's going to fight for you the way you can fight for yourself. And so I have learned just to be confident in asking for what I want. But in that confidence, I am always kind and I am always respectful and I'm always okay if the answer's no, but it doesn't mean I have to accept a no the first time.
Yes. Okay, I'm a big fan of the She Wolf Pack.
Yay!
So let's talk about, how do you cultivate friendships when life just feels crazy busy? I know in one of your books you talk about how your friend Jeffrey just texts you every once in a while, like, need anything, which is such an easy way just to check in with people and tell them, hey, I'm thinking about you. So 2 questions. How have you cultivated your She Wolf Pack, like your personal people, over the course of the years? And then second, do you have any tips for how to just work on friendship when life feels crazy?
My best friend Dillany has been my best friend since we were 15 years old. So it kind of goes to show you that
you keep your people.
I keep my people, because when you find good ones, I mean, you have to, and you have to invest in those friendships. And of course, there are always seasons that may get a little busy and you might not talk quite as much, or might not be able to be there for one another quite as much, but you have to invest. I think because of the position I'm in, I meet a lot of new people, and I don't always know everyone's motive. And sometimes people just might think we would be best friends, but they also see like the Instagram version of me, which really is me, but you're still seeing the best of me. Like, come on, I'm not sharing like my crying, like, well, actually I do share some of my crying moments on Instagram.
I thought it was hilarious when you shared about your Diva Cup experience.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I know, I shared about my menstrual
right
cup. Yeah, I'm very open that way. But I'm not, the days that are hard with my husband and I'm crying, or it's just like, ugh, don't think I don't have them. Like I do I've been married 22 years, but I'm not sharing that on Instagram,
Okay, so we're gonna do some rapid fire questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Favorite song to sing in the car?
I'm just obsessed with Shawn Mendes right now. The whole entire album. I keep talking about it. It's been months and months already, and I can't. It's still my jam. The whole album.
Okay, strangest thing a fan has done.
I autographed a girl's arm, and she went and had it tattooed.
No way. Best thing that's happened this week?
Our show got nominated for an Emmy.
Woo!
Fuller House. For sure the best thing that happened this week. We didn't win it, but that's okay. Yeah. It was a pretty big deal.
Favorite show to binge watch on TV?
The Office.
Favorite go-to snack?
Cashews, almonds, of course Star-Kissed tuna and chicken in a pouch.
Who has better hair, DJ Fuller or Uncle Jesse?
DJ Fuller. Clearly. Uncle Jesse can't always have the best hair.
Most embarrassing moment?
Okay, so not long ago, I was a guest on the Home and Family show on Hallmark Channel, and I had not had a manicure in a very long time. So before the show, I popped on press-on nails.
You did not.
Popped them on, and during the middle of the show, I was like, like this, and a nail stuck in my hair. It popped off and was stuck in my hair. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't even know what's happening. I just like kept my head like this for the rest of it because I knew the camera couldn't see it back here. And then as soon as the camera cut, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't find the nail. You gotta find the nail. Someone found the nail, but it was like way back here stuck in my hair.
That is the best. Okay, last question. Most memorable moment from filming any movie?
I think my favorite thing ever was when New Kids on the Block were on Fuller House.
I'm so jealous
because it was a huge dream come true for Andrea Barber and me. Andrea and I were like in dreamland all week, and we turned into giddy 13-year-olds and had so much fun with them. And I mean, we've known them for years, but they were such good sports, and it was a dream come true.
One of my favorite parts of Fuller House is how when the doorbell rings and everyone yells out, it's always open.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate hospitality to the people around you in your everyday life?
I like my door to be always open at home, although I have a really big Rottweiler, so don't try to break into my house. It's never about the stuff that we have or it being perfect or fancy or I have the right food or it's like, no, it's just about the friendship. It's about the conversation. And I like to keep it on the small side too. So whoever is over, I really get to spend time with those people. And I'm trying to get a little more bold with my neighbors too. That's another one. It's a little harder to be hospitable to people you don't know as well. Yeah. And that takes a little courage to be like, hey neighbor, I'd like to invite you over.
Totally.
For dinner. And I'm still working up my courage on that. But ask me next year, I'll have had to have, I have very nice neighbors,
So fun. Okay, last question.
Okay.
Do you have any morning or evening rituals that you do every day to help cultivate your faith?
Well, my prayer life is very big, and I have to start my day off in prayer. Otherwise, the days that I don't, I can feel it my whole day. And I'm a prayer throughout the day. It doesn't mean that I'm, going off into a room or getting on my knees every day, but I'm literally talking to the Lord all day long. And obviously reading my Bible. I share that a lot too on Instagram and read that. And I love using that as a tool to share the gospel with people and read the Bible that may not pick one up in their real life. And I have had so many comments from people that have said like, thanks, I don't read the Bible, I don't even believe in it, but it's so soothing to hear it and it's so positive to hear it. And to cultivate my faith, it's all the normal things everyone else does. I go to church on Sundays. We're, a praying family, and we just try to live it out most of all and just walk the walk that we're talking.
Yeah. Candace, thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to spend a couple minutes with you chatting.
You are so welcome, and thanks for coming out here. I appreciate it.
Hey there. Thanks so much for listening. Okay, here's the deal. I wrote a book. It's my second book and it's coming out in the spring, and I'm pretty excited about it. So excited that I want to give you a sneak peek. So go to my website, mandyarioto.com, and you can download the first chapter for free. Also, when you download that first chapter, you will get to read a foreword by my friend, the amazing, the inspirational, the guy who we all want to be like, Bob Goff. So go right now to mandyarioto.com and download the chapter. And now, go out and have more fun, and don't come back until you do.